crown jewels. What is the Queen's net worth and how much does Queen Elizabeth II earn a year? The Queen's income is said to increase by 8% from £76 million in 2017-18 to £82.2 million the following year. So how has Her Majesty made her incredible fortune, and what's our head of state's net worth? What is Queen Elizabeth II's net worth? Forbes has estimated the Queen's private net worth at around £415 million. This cash comes mostly from the Duchy of Lancaster, which is made up of 18,454 hectares of land in England and Wales. The Queen is also believed to have her own private investments, jewels, cars, horses and royal and historic items of value. However, most of the Queen's household income, covering her personal and family expenses, comes from an annual government grant. The cash is a small fraction of the profits from the Crown Estate, a vast property empire that belongs to the monarch but whose revenues go to the Treasury. The Queen also gets to enjoy the assets that are technically attributed to the Crown, including Buckingham Palace. How has the Queen made her fortune? Real estate and land ownership all contribute towards the monarch's fortune. Her impressive building portfolio boasts both Sandringham House and Balmoral Castle. According to Forbes, Lenka from real estate agency Luxett values these two properties at around £80 million combined. While these estates are the jewels in Her Majesty's crown, she also holds agricultural land across the nation, as well as lavish buildings in the capital. Even though she does not personally own the properties controlled by the Crown Estates, 15% of the annual revenue does go towards her own expenses each year. This sovereign grant provides for the upkeep of palaces, household staff, travel and royal functions including garden parties and receptions. Why is the Queen receiving a £6 million pay increase? The Queen is to get a £6 million funding increase thanks to a record performance by the Crown Estate. It comes after another boost in taxpayer cash to cover the refurbishment of Buckingham Palace. Increased revenues from the estate, which owns properties and land across Britain, will see Her Majesty's sovereign grant rise by 8% from £76 million in 2017-18 to £82.2 million the year after. The Queen's funding is based on a percentage of the estate's profits, which rose £24 million to a record £329 million in the financial year 2016-17. What is the Paradise Papers row? The Queen was embroiled in a tax row after it emerged her private estate is among the ranks of the mega-rich secretly investing cash in offshore tax havens. More than 13 million leaked financial documents, dubbed the Paradise Papers, alleged that the Duchy of Lancaster, which handles the Queen's £500 million estate and investments, has held funds in the Cayman Islands and Bermuda. Around £10 million of the Queen's private cash is said to have been tied up in offshore portfolios, the BBC reported. There is nothing to suggest that any investments are illegal, the broadcaster added. The estate also had small investments in the controversial rent-to-buy retailer Bright House and the Threshers chain of off-licenses, which went bust, owing £17.5 million in tax and costing almost 6,000 people their livelihood. Bright House was ordered to pay £14.8 million to 249,000 customers after the financial watchdog found it had treated them unfairly. The Duchy told the BBC it was not involved in decisions made by funds, and there is no suggestion the Queen had any knowledge of the specific investments made on her behalf.